So I saw this incredible video from Andre of Midnight's Edge, and I want to bring it up. Here, the discussion is on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I think this is we're jumping in at the 7-minute mark of a 10-minute conversation. I think that what Andre put up there is 100% on point. We pick up the discussion in that why mainstream media has gone after this movie, not liking this movie. Yet the audience does, but now there's a divide in the audience. So not only do you have a divide with mainstream media in the audience, you have the audience within arguing with each other on, is this woke? Is this a queer ghost thing going on? So let's pick it up. Let's listen, and we'll discuss.
Distant second priority. Meanwhile, what queerness there may be in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire may still be too much for many in the audience, where some have been rendered hypersensitive to the message after being battered senseless with it for years on end, in everything from movies.
Okay, so he says that right there. He admits that perhaps we're being oversensitive because we've been battered so much. Who is this we? Who is this we? Is it just people that like entertainment? I would say for a lot of cases, it's Gringos. There's nothing wrong with that. Is that that's who they're going after. That's who they've gone after. That's who they made the villain. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's continue this.
To TV series, to kids animation, the message after being battered senseless with it for years on end. In everything from movies, to TV series, to kids animation, to store windows, to ladies' changing rooms, and to beer commercials. Especially since this movie had the misfortune of bad timing, in that it's being released on the wrong side of a certain South Park special which highlighted the Kathleen Kennedy School of Filmmaking.
You'd better put a chick in it and make it fucking gay as fuck.
The filmmakers were earnest about it, but unfortunately for them, in the time frame between this being filmed and released, having a lesbian subplot went from being a virtue signal to being a cliché, confined to the realm of parody. And in Frozen Empire, this subplot is so integral to the rise of the villain that there's just no way to assess or review the movie without it. Then, of course, there is the group.
Okay, so interesting that he's laying out the argument that there's one side that says, listen, this relationship is so gay that it's part of the story, and you know it makes the villain that much more of a betrayal because they were falling in love with each other. Can't you see it? It's obvious. Andre's saying is that whether that's the case or not, the timing release of this film could not have been worse because of the Kathleen Kennedy. And then before that, because of all the constant bombardment of attacking, for lack of a better words, Gringos. Gringos in entertainment, and what he was saying. Okay? Whether that's the case or not, it's interesting how he's laying out the argument. Now he's going to talk about the audience within. This is great stuff.
Subplot is so integral to the rise of the villain that there's just no way to assess or review the movie without it. Then, of course, there is the group that don't see anything lesbian here at all. To them, and the actress herself has suggested this in interviews, Phoebe simply feels alone and vulnerable after being booted off the team and simply needs someone to connect with. Then it's no longer a division between just the critics and the audience, but within the audience as well. And not a lot of good can come from that. In short, this creative choice was one that is so critical to the screen story that it cannot be ignored. It went sufficiently far to turn away many in the audience, yet not far enough to in favor with the media. That's what we call the worst of all worlds, rolled into one right there. And that is a shame, because there's a lot of good here. The movie on...
Okay, so even the star, and then a big portion of the audience were just like, has got nothing to do with being gay. This is just the character who is lost and lonely. I would be one of them. I'm totally one of them. I didn't see that at all. I saw this as a very wonderful new relationship, new friendship with these two teenagers who, and one is just trying to find her place. That's it. And then this other one, I mean, it was fantastic. You know, she's this ghost entity that literally all she wants to do is spoilers, guys, is be reunited with her family. They all got burned down. They all were burned to death. I mean, that's heavy. That's kind of dark. And then they just help each other out. Again, this would not be an issue. This wouldn't be a talking point if it was a boy. But it happens to be a woman, a girl, and it's a problem within. I've seen videos. I've seen, and no matter what, no, that's how it is, Polly. That's how it is. And they're trying to indoctrinate our kids. She's 15. She's a kid. Listen, again, I don't see it. But let's just say you know what? Let's compromise. Let's find that common ground. Let's just say you're right. Let's say you're right. Let's say this is a lesbian young love of a girl who is dead, and I don't know her age, and 15-year-old McKenna Grace's character. I would say, one, so the fuck what? I don't care, because I'm being entertained and it is a nice relationship. And two, the reality is those people exist in the world. And to say they don't, you're fooling yourself. You're absolutely, by 15? Come on. Come on. So if that common ground is to where it's like we both realize that, hey, it might be with this example. And I say, so what? And you're saying, well, I'm offended. Can we compromise to say, don't watch the film? Or are you not going to recommend it because of its gay content? So we have to do this is a silly it's a good exercise over a silly example, but I think the point is that, are we just going to be butting heads, or are we going to find something to where we can compromise about, have a little common ground? I think this case is really just, again, the just a woke watch, horrible reaction. This to me is so harmless. And I will say that when Lord of the Rings came out, when Return of the King came out, when all those came out, they always referred to the hobbits as gay love, because they were so sweet with each other and fond of each other. You guys remember that? And it was funny, but it wasn't right. And it wasn't, and they weren't. So again, why are we so fragile? And good job on Midnight's Edge. Thank you so much, Andre.